Hi, everyone. I am so excited today to be at University Lending and with one of our preferred lenders, both with WCR and ERA American Real Estate, Mary Markham. And we want to talk to you today about what it's like to do a construction perm loan. Now, I believe with all my heart that Mary is an expert in this area and she's my go-to, especially when you talk about construction perm. So, first of all, what are the types of construction perm loans available to you as a buyer?
Well, we have VA, conventional, and as of this year, FHA.
So, you have three choices.
Yes.
Which is the most easiest and best that you like to see people? I know we're in a predominant military area. So, is it hard to do a construction perm for VA?
Actually, I think it is not at all. And just like our regular general real estate loans are primarily VA, the same amount is for construction loans. So that's what we do the most of. And it's great. You can buy your land with it, use the VA approved builder. If you have land, you can use it as well. You get the same benefits that you get with no money down, pending what you qualify for. And it's great. It is going to take a little bit longer to close, but that's just really upfront as long as it takes you to select your builder that we either already have them approved or get approved, which is pretty simple, and have your plans and specs drawn up and put together with the final contract price. That for us is the biggest thing people need to do. If you have a land contract to close, let's find out where our buyers are. Have they met with the builder? Because if they haven't, we might need to roll it back a little bit on that lot
Oh, I'm getting a
close
lot
date.
loan.
Mhm.
I see. So, if I understand it right from prior before, when a buyer gets a lot loan, it can be wrapped into the construction perm and pay off the lot loan
Yes.
and do you do a one-time or two-time
One
closing?
time close. So all those, if we have a lot contract and a builder contract, we're going to close those up front before we start building. That's when any closing costs and down payment are paid. The land is paid off and purchased. That mortgage and land is effectively in our buyer's name. Um, and we hold all of the money in construction and deal with dispersing it to the builder. During construction, it gives you a benefit to have a little bit of control. Of course, we want to keep our builders happy too.
Yeah, but I'm
So,
thinking, phew, if I was a buyer, I wouldn't want to mess with having to meet all of the requirements that you specifically have to
mhm.
have the builder meet. So you're saying if I'm a buyer, I get a construction perm loan, I don't have to meet those thresholds. University lending would make sure that my builder is meeting those thresholds of getting before they get a disbursement.
Right, exactly.
Perfect. That's
Lien
awesome.
searches, but we also, in simultaneously, which the buyer wants for their builder, they want that to be fluid. They need that money to be wired. They need the inspector to get there quickly, and we pride on self with that. We have an entire department that issues those draws, deals with the paperwork, that kind of stuff. Because when the house is built, what we do is take that VA construction loan and modify it into a permanent loan. There's not the refinance cost, and we collect your
Oh,
prepaids and escrows then. And then effectively on the VA loans, they're going to start paying the month after, just like you're going to skip a month from when we modify when the house is built. Um,
so it's like a typical closing at the
yeah,
end.
except for you, the closing costs are paid up front, the prepaids are collected at the modification.
Okay, so at the modification, which doesn't change the interest rate or anything that we've already locked
Mhm.
into, we're good to go. And we just close at the end. You get the prepaids for taxes and insurance,
Right.
and then you six 6 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on when you close,
hmm
you will have your first payment.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect. Now, in saying that, when you get this money, who's responsible for paying the interest on the money if you have a VA loan?
On the VA loans, the veteran is not allowed to pay it. They prefer that it be paid by the builder directly, which is our preference, cleanest, simplest, or if they want to add it on contract wise and there's agreement there. But it's something that needs to be known before the price is secured for the cost to build. Adding it on the back end, it happens, we do it, but it just complicates things a little bit.
Now,
And that's
what?
only on VA.
That's only on VA. What about conventional?
And so you'll find there are some builders that only want to do conventional for that reason about the interest. in my opinion, it's not really a reason to do it. And conventional is not going to allow you to, you know, finance 100% like VA will. And that's a big thing because that's what we need
Oh,
right now.
yeah, because we'd have to come
Mhm.
up as a buyer. We would need 10, 15, 20%
Right.
down. So we would have to bring that money at closing for the first close.
Exactly.
Before the modification, we would be putting our money
Yes.
in. Ah, okay.
So on conventional, the minimum they're going to want down is 5%. Of course, always ideally 20% down is great because you don't have monthly mortgage insurance. FHA is going to want 3.5% down. So again, all done up front. Keyword, you'll hear that a lot because that's what you want. You're up front, you close, you have a rate that's locked in, you're not out there floating in the market. Um, what people ask a lot on those two types of loans, especially, are what if I already own my land? And it's complicated to understand usually the first go round. So I try to explain it like 1 + 1 is 2. Because if you own your land, you're going to either own it outright, paid for, free and clear, or you're going to have a mortgage against it. So, one way or the other, at that upfront closing, either you've got that land equity or we're making a lot payoff. So, lot payoff would be added to the cost to build what the builder's charging you. But when your land is free and clear, a lot of people get in their minds that we're just going to say, the cost with my builder's 400,000 and my land is worth 100,000 and I don't owe anything on it. And it's like, great, because that is so good. And I love it when people own their land free and clear. But they think in their mind that that $100,000 worth of equity, which is what it is, um, reduces their cost to build. And it doesn't. And it makes sense that you would think it because people will say, use your equity on a construction loan. Well, you absolutely do. But it doesn't decrease what you owe the builder at closing.
Correct. Well, it's
Mhm.
no different than if you own your land and you have damage done to it
Mhm.
from an insurance perspective. We're not insuring the land either. We're insuring the building that's on top of
Yeah,
the land.
that's
So
a good
I
point.
think
I need
that's
to
a
use
good
that one.
there you go. See, we help each other out. That's why
Yeah,
we're here,
yeah.
collaborating
Well,
together.
that's why it's because people ask that a lot. It's common that they would think
Yeah.
that. So that's a
Now,
good one.
they have phases. So I come to you, we get a construction perm loan, we do VA. Now, there are specific stages along the way, thresholds, I think is maybe the word that you
Yeah.
guys use, that the builder has to meet, correct?
So not necessarily. What we prefer is that we set everything up on a 12-month build time. Sometimes we do 9 months because people like that know they're going to be done much quicker, but 12-month is preferred. And that's from the closing date. So what will happen is you'll have builders that won't draw money until they're halfway done with the house. That happens. A lot of times because they don't want to pay the interest and they don't need it. But most people are going to draw, you can take 10% up front of the cost to build. And a lot of them want that for soft costs. I would. And then when the slab or pilings are up, they're going to order a draw from us. Inspector's going to come out. We're going to calculate how much is done. It doesn't have to be on his 20-20-10, draw schedule.
Okay.
So the work that's done is going to be paid. We do a small 2% holdback that the government agencies like for us to do. It's only a 2% of the amount that was drawn.
So would that be only on VA and FHA that you
No, we do that on
never
everybody.
So it's on across the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's small. I mean, you're talking
Well,
about like,
2%, that's $8,000 on 400,000, right?
yes, and
So,
it goes in
yeah.
the increments of the draw
Right.
amount. So people will fuss about it, but then I'm like, listen, when Uncle Sam says it, we just kind of,
Yeah,
but it, here's the thing, it feels picky. We feel sometimes until you get used to it, like it's different. It takes longer. We like to prepare. It's not going to close. I can close it in 30 days if everything clicks and if the borrower clicks. But it's usually 45, sometimes 60, and then we can not overpromise and underdeliver. What do they say? But there's nothing like building your own home.
So if I was wanting to get a loan, what do I need to do?
Okay. For construction loans, you should start your basic homework on what type of house you want and what price you want to pay. You need to remember that everybody would like to build their own home. Land is not running around all over the place in our area. So it brings top dollar. I mean, our market is still so strong in regular real estate, but new construction, brings top dollar. So be realistic about what you're going to ask a builder to do. I mean, look at what the square footage is. Talk to your realtor. They can help you get started there. Because if you're going to go call 15 builders for the lowest price, like they're not going to call you back. So I think that number one, if you're looking to build, is become realistic about what price you're going to pay and expect to pay what everybody else is paying and love it all the way down, and you're going to sell your house for the equity in our homes, just here in Niceville or from being new construction 13 years ago is huge. My house still feels brand new.
Well, and mine's 19 years old, and I
Yeah,
built my house.
and
And I
it's
mean, it bought,
beautiful.
yes, and the equity that
Yeah.
is in it. And I
Mhm.
do think interviewing a builder, don't complicate it. Just like if you feel the connection,
Yeah.
just like with lending, just like with real estate, I think if you feel the connection with the builder, I
Hmm.
think you really have to, have
Yeah.
an interview. And if you feel that connection and you feel it's right, then you got to
Yeah.
do it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the person, don't, I mean, it is, you want to be able to have that communication, be
Yeah.
able to talk to them. I know from having, my dad's a builder, so I grew up in construction, and, you know, you have to not be in the face of the builder though. So you
Yeah.
have to give them this creative space
Yeah.
in order to develop the plan, and things will happen, and not like bring a list out there every day. Oh, why isn't this done?
Yeah.
So,
For sure,
sorry.
please. And the builders are busy. One thing I can say about a builder is their response time is probably not like mine and your text business exchanges. They're in the field. They're not sitting at their desk, and they're busy. People, if it's not you, there are people. This is why prices are where they are. People are lined up for it. So where we can help you is they want to know before they talk to you. Um, are you pre-qualified? Do you know how much you can go for? So that's something that doesn't take long. We look at it up front. We give you your highest range, and then you can tell them yes. And oh, by the way, I have the construction line lined up, loan lined up, ready to go. And it's going to be VA, so I got a couple things I need you to talk to my lender about.
Now, does FHA have any restrictions? Because it's a government-backed loan. Does the buyer have to pay the interest on the loan if the builder takes a draw?
The FHA loan it's an FHA loan like an FHA loan is in the real world. It's Federal Housing Administration. We have some rules to follow. So with FHA, you really want to get pre-qualified up front, because if we can't do it today, let's get ready for what we can do down the line and know our highest amount, because a lot of times people will say, I'm only going to spend 250. Well, 250, you can't live in that house because it doesn't meet your standards, and you can afford 375, but let's find something in the middle.
Well, and I think that's important. You've been in the business a long time. I've been in the business. We're both professionals, and I think people need to learn to come to the professional, because we know, if you're experienced and you do this full time, this is what you know. And trust us, because we have built our business based on this, on
Yes.
having the trust of all of our customers to come back to us over and over again. And I know you have repeat business. I have repeat business.
I know.
And I mean, it just,
So grateful.
yes, very grateful that we have the repeat business. But the reason why is because people know what they're getting when they come to Mary Markham at University Lending, or when they come to Marsha Babe at the Babe Group at ERA. They know what they're getting. Trustworthiness, honest, integrity. Those are the things that we strive for, and that's the things that that you should be looking for. But I really appreciate you taking time with me today, because I know that you're super busy. It's a Monday, y'all, and and it's coming up on
It
the
was a
end of the
Monday,
month.
Monday.
And I'm coming up on the end of the month, and Mary still gave us some time today. But if you would like any more information about lending, please make sure to reach out to Mary Markham Dark at University Lending. And if you'd like more about real estate, I'm your girl, the real estate babe at ERA American Real Estate, and I represent the Babe Group.